For those of you that don't know, I post 4 early access videos every single month that my flock members get early access to before everyone else. This is a new series where I go through, dive into a raid, and explain my thought process behind how I engage each fight and how I approach every scenario I come across. All right, guys, well, let's dive into our first raid. Alrighty, gentlemen, we're diving into our first raid here, and the first thing I want to say right off the bat is that, as you can see, we've got a very budget-friendly kit. It's basic Stitcher 4. We did actually get the perfect spawn, in my opinion. Well, probably the closest thing to a perfect spawn, considering what my strategy is for this raid. Now, I'm going to explain more behind the scenes as we approach actual situations like fights, but one thing I want to explain right off the bat is always just trying to have some form of plan going into the raid, because if you're familiar with where the spawn locations are and kind of what your goal is for that raid, it might give you an opportunity to have a gained advantage against any enemy raiders, right? So the biggest thing is, as you guys saw, I just placed down a jolt mine. I very intentionally brought it for a situation just like this. Let's see if he drops down a second window. I've played through Plaza Rosa many times now, and there's really 2 ways that people can push into this building. They either have to drop and push into the first window, or they've got to go down to the second window, in which I may have time to react and beat them to the doorway at the bottom and hopefully get the jump on them. Now, this is very situational, but one thing you'll see me do here is the moment I see him drop down to the second window, I do not hesitate. I immediately start pushing down to that bottom doorway to meet him there. Because if I give him too much time, he's going to be able to react quicker, get a better position, and I may potentially lose the fight because of this. So let's see what happens. He did. So there you go, boys. Alright, so as you guys can see, I took out the player, finished him, and immediately started looting. Now, I don't always recommend you do this. Obviously, make sure your heals are topped off, but the reason I start looting him here is because I already knew my top floor was completely blocked by my jolt mine. If someone were to push in, I would know, and I'd have time to react. The other thing is, I did find some utility. I found some barricades, and I was able to put those to use to cover up that bottom window, giving me complete peace of mind that no one could push in without me knowing. Alright, guys, well, one of the biggest things just right off the bat that I'd like to discuss is, first and foremost, I saw it coming, right? And that's a pretty obvious one, given that I was actually anticipating this spawn point. Oh. You got someone else? Re-kit. Right? Yeah. Take that, though. Those are, like, beyond hard to find nowadays. But yeah, guys, so this is the biggest thing. Like, I don't really want to sit here and rap, but I just want to take a moment to kind of explain my thought process. A lot of times I anticipate getting a spawn point close to Plaza Rosa. Because I love PvPing, this is a great spot where you can anticipate players coming to, and anticipate that there's going to be at least a few raiders that drop in looking for a fight. As you guys can see. Granted, they all seem to be free. Okay, well, not all of them, but they're looking, some of them are looking for easy loot, others are looking for a fight. Guy with the Rattler 4 obviously has done this a few times. He was smart in dropping to that bottom window. That's why I brought my mine. I placed it here to give myself an advantage if they were to push directly in. If I didn't have that mine, I would be stuck to, well, first off, they probably would have pushed right into the window, right? And I could have taken that head on. But let's just say he had a Bobcat. It might have given him the advantage to just push right in and beat me in the TTK, or time to kill, because the Stitcher just doesn't kill as fast. But that's also why I'm tucked behind this wall. I'd be able to shoot a little bit, dodge while he expends most of his magazine, duck back, finish the job. That would be the goal, at least. Now, with the multiple players that we've seen here, I'm kind of just letting the waves come through so that I can eventually leave here. That's the goal. I do want to loot this room. So we're actually going to end up barricading this front window. But in the meantime, I'm using that noisemaker just to give me an alarm for when I do drop down. Oh my. Because we will be throwing this wall up right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we can start looting. So again, biggest thing is kind of anticipating where the enemy is going to be, how they're going to push, and putting yourself in their shoes, right? So just kind of anticipating like, all right, if I were pushing in on this room and I knew somebody was inside, or at least I had a good idea that someone could be inside, how would I approach this? And then thinking through that process and planning for it. That's one of the biggest things. And when you get used to playing certain maps or certain areas of a map, you can start to figure out, okay, what's the most effective way for me to run this area and do exactly that, you know, actually anticipate the other raiders and how they're going to play. So it's just thinking through a lot of those situations you might find yourself in. All right, but now that we've taken out a few raiders, I don't think I'm going to get pushed too heavily now. I may still get pushed by another player or two over the course of time, but I think we're safe enough to loot now without stressing it too much. All right, let's drop this. Another thing too people have asked about a lot is why I keep my inventory the way I do. It's pretty simple actually. I like to keep all of my utility items in the same area in line with where I'd use them, and that's why you see me kind of reconfiguring things the way they are. We really need to find some weapons here so we can start putting some of these attachments on guns, because otherwise we're going to be out of space really soon. But again, I'm using a very basic kit, right? So nothing crazy about this light shield, just a looting Mark 1. We don't have a ton of space, but just enough to grab the best items that we really want and ideally make it out of the raid with some pretty good value. And because we played it smart, we were able to best somebody with arguably a better gun, at least is what I would suggest, which is the Rattler 4. Rattler 4 is incredible. The reload does stink on it, but he's got a decent sized magazine and it's a faster time to kill. All right, we can grab another one of these if we want some extra cash. Let's do that. Check the rest. Okay, we got one more bin. And this one might be just a quick extract, so look at that, even better compensator. That's why I love this area. Now we could easily go check other areas, but I think what we're gonna do is, we had a pretty decent basic raid here. We're probably just gonna go extract. So what we're gonna do, yeah, nothing else here can be placed on another gun. We might just head to the hatch really quick. Might have just heard somebody load in. They didn't set off the alarm, so they're not inside yet. So let's see if they're up here. Sounds like a patina over there, maybe. Maybe we'll go for that really quick. We could carry more loot if we get another gun. Oh my gosh, that thing's flipped upside down. So it is over towards bridge. Possibly closer. Lead things with our ranged weapon here, unless we're pushing into close quarters. Oh, there we go.
Raider, there, by the Arbusto Tower.
He might just be tucked down there looting somebody. We could send him a little present. Crap, we missed that. Somebody is behind me still. We're gonna hit this. Oh my gosh. Okay guys, so this one's pretty self-explanatory. I noticed this guy shoot at me from a lower level in the Arbusto Tower. So I took height, positioned myself above where he would be so that he had to push up to me or make the first move. This is going to give me the opportunity to vet out his position and whatever approach he has for attack. As you saw, he tried to throw a grenade up into my attic area and it missed. I also missed my shots, so I repositioned and just waited out his next move. Eventually, I decided to drop down after a couple minutes and lead with a showstopper so that if he was around that wall, I would either bait out his position, make him push away, or potentially hit him with it and gain the advantage in the fight. After he didn't budge, I pushed back up to the roof and eventually decided to take a different approach to gaining low ground that would be a little bit less expectant. I did take a little bit of fall damage there and possibly gave away my position with that noise, but what I did next was just lead with yet another showstopper to potentially push him out of any cover he might be sitting behind. He ended up not being here, though I did check the staircase just one last time to make sure, and it seemed like he had moved away from this position. So I did hear the extract go off and decided to position myself to low ground to check it out, and this happened next. There's a body down here. I can hear it shaking in the leaves. Alright. Okay, so obviously this guy has the high ground advantage. He shot me with his Osprey. I don't really have great long range to compete with him, so what I decided to do instead was change up my position and poke him a little bit with the Rattler. The nice thing with this approach is that the Osprey gives you a very selective field of view. So he's going to hone back into where I just took those shots. That's going to allow me to move around and get a clear shot on him. I dealt quite a bit of damage there. And so I decided now, okay, I'm going to push this guy. Possibly just going in down low here. The arc did give me a little bit of trouble here. I thought I had enough cover, but managed to take quite a bit of damage. So rather than pushing directly up on where this raider was positioned, I decided to hug this doorway, heal up a little bit, and wait till I was at full health before I pushed up any doorways, because there's a very good chance this guy could be sitting at the top of the stairs or around the next corner. So just making sure I'm at full health, bait the shredder shot so that I have time to run away from it, and then I'm fully committing to this rotation. So hugging the wall so that he has to peek even more in order to get a shot on me. He ends up not being up either of these stairwells, and so I'm kind of left with one last option. I'm pretty confident he's sitting at the top of the zip line here. So I use a Trailblazer grenade to kind of bait out his location. It didn't do any damage, and I pushed up. Fortunately, he used a Toro. Fortunately, he used a Toro, which is just a terrible gun. And because of that, he gave away his position. We managed to snag him. Let's go, boys. That's a dub right there. Woo! Oh, man. Not even that good of a gun to be doing that. With a heavy shield. Or he got that off someone. Who knows? Hard to tell. Hard to tell. We'll take that, though, for parts. And I think with that, we can take the dub, boys. We can cash out, I think. And honestly, what I'm going to do here, I think what we do is we throw that on there, throw that on there, do one of them numbers. Now we're sitting pretty good.
Is en route. The safe window is closing. You have 10 minutes to return to Speranza. I repeat, 10 minutes.
Okay, there we go, boys. I definitely knew that guy was going to be up the zip. I took a big risk by immediately taking shots from him, but fortunately he chose very poorly with what gun he led with, which was the Toro. Probably would have been better off with the Osprey. And just like that, boys, we got a nice little 4-knock dub from Buried City, okay? So we're going to run it back and see if anything changes in how we run this next run. And again, guys, we'll just explain our thought process and dive right into another raid. Let's get it, boys. Here we go. We're going to be bringing in essentially what we came out with that last raid from. So we've got a nice Osprey. We've got a Stitcher. This is a phenomenal combo, to be completely honest with you. Especially if we can hit the initial Osprey shot. and follow up with a Stitcher, we should be able to snag somebody pretty easily. So let's dive in. Same thing, I'm just going to explain my thought process as I manage each situation that we find ourselves in, and we're just going to cruise around for this raid and see what we can do, boys. Let's get after it. Nice little night raid. Run over the fireball. Whenever I get a hotel spawn on Riptides, I pretty much have the same approach every single time. I like to get up to the roof, get a nice vantage point, check the nearby spawn locations to make sure no one's there, and then position myself at the top of either zip, listening to see if anyone pushes. In this case, someone did. Yep, here we go.
Oh, really?
This is a situation I've found myself in many times, where essentially another player escapes my grasp, I don't know exactly where they're at, and rather than panic, the best thing to do in this situation is just be calm, let them give away their position, inevitably they will, and in this case, he ended up throwing some gas grenades that told me most likely he's underneath, and from there, I started hearing some mines. That gave away the position to me that he's below, and I decided to take an approach to drop down to a lower level and push from his level instead. Hitting it again, they're probably not going to push up with that there, so let's just drop down on them. Crap. GG's, brother. Okay, let's break down this fight a little bit. As you guys noticed, I missed my initial Osprey shot. Just barely, but it's just enough to give him a major advantage in this fight. He now knows my position. I've got to swap to my secondary, and so the next best thing I can do here is jump in the air, as you can see. This gives me height advantage, and he misses quite a few shots. I also managed to land some headshots, get the crack, and once I see that smoke, you'll watch my crosshairs start shaking back and forth. This is very intentional. Once he's in that smoke, I don't know exactly where he's at, so I need to shake up my aim and make sure I still hit him while he's in that smoke to get the final blow. Because of these few reasons, even though I missed my initial shot that honestly he should have punished me for, I still managed to come through and come out on top of that fight. Hey, they gave it a good try. They gave it a good try. Gonna need to just reset here really quick. Might just have to take out this shredder, which the Osprey is actually really good at. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I thought you could grab those ledges. Apparently not. Lesson learned. Lesson learned, lesson learned. We're just gonna take stairs. I wasn't really anticipating a fight with a shredder, but I was able to handle this one very effectively. The first thing is establishing a wall I'm gonna use as my primary cover. And rather than hiding around it all the time, I only use that cover when the shredder is activating its shotgun burst, and then I actually body block the shredder and pursue him after he shoots. That way I can force his positioning rather than letting him force my positioning. This is really, really effective. I've used it a ton of times, taken out shredders before, whether it's Delamontis or a random fight just like this on the hotel. And it allows you to take down the shredder much more confidently. With that, it's pretty easy. Is that on me? There's not really a lot to say about this fight because it was obviously unexpected. This guy scared the crap out of me. But one thing you'll notice is that I do pull my gun out prematurely, right before I round this corner. It's not because I knew a player was here, but simply because I instinctually choose to do this all the time whenever I'm rounding corners. This natural behavior and this just practice behavior is something that just essentially possibly saved my life. As you saw, going into this fight, I was already low health. So if this guy had been anticipating me running up those stairs and reacted quicker, I very likely could have lost this fight. But fortunately, again, that natural instinct and practice behavior put me in an advantaged position where I was able to land an early shot, swap to my secondary, and finish the job on this raider. Definitely a freak situation, but one that a lot of people would look at and be like, well, how did you know he was there? I had zero idea. But because I had those good practices of just pulling my gun out whenever I round corners, I was able to spot something out of place right as I round that corner, and I already had my gun out to actually take effect on that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Got it down, Raider. Down there.
All right, well, there's always a chance someone can be lurking, so always round corners while being ready. Oh my. Ooh, there's the survivor I wanted. Oh, and we can wear his medium shield too. I do believe. Where's she gonna take that? You know what? I might as well. Dude. The worst enemy for me today, I guess, is just the zip line, bro. It's my greatest foe right now. He also had a medium. Ooh. Berletta's a massive upgrade. We are gonna do this. Oh, wow. And a level 4. Okay, let's hit this really quick. What do we have? Just 2 rechargers left? Slap one of these for now. We'll grab a cell off the shredders we killed. I don't really know if I need these. I'll take that though. Okay, hit this really quick. Now we can move on from the hotel, which is not usually my favorite place to fight, so kind of excited we're finally moving on from here. Oh, look at this.
Raider, down there. Raider. Raider, over there. Raider. There. Over there. Forget it.
He's got arc
Over
on
there. Look there. Firefly.
Alright, let's go. Guys, what is with me today? We're just gonna take high ground here, push him from the outside. Seems like he might just be a light shield. Okay, but he does seem to have enough cover from the arc, so we'll have to look for a POI, a building, or any form of cover that would allow him to be concealed from these arc. So probably the building. Probably the building, if I were to guess. In which case, we're going to do that. There it is. This is kind of just a tough situation in general. Obviously, this guy is sitting inside the building. He's got much better cover than I do, so I'm going to be forced to push up and avoid getting attacked by some of these arc. I also just want to make sure I have some cover in case he decides to peek out and get some shots on me. But essentially, I should have saved that blaze grenade to feel out his location at a time like now, and because of that, I just pushed right in. Yo, jeez, brother. Hey, you have a great night, buddy boy. Okay, he beat us there. I don't know. He obviously hit some headshots. I kind of got a little bumped around by that board that was sticking in my face, and I just wasn't firing fast enough. He beat me with a Beretta. Sometimes it just goes that way. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's dive into one more. I feel like I'm shorting you guys on just that, so let's do one more really quick. Alrighty guys, we're back at it. Night Raid Riventide with a budget kit. Not even 27 grand with the gear on us. We do have a Renegade 3 though, which will be nice. This is a partial raid, so people are already going to be mixed up around the map. We're going to have to play this one smart, and I'm actually kind of glad we're getting to see this scenario because this does happen fairly often, where you jump into a partial raid and you kind of have to figure out, okay, how do I approach positioning myself when there are already raiders around the map? So first things first, I'm kind of just taking in any intel I can get, especially partly into a match like this. You might catch people aggroing some form of arc, so that's a great thing to look for. Are any arc yellow or red? If so, there's for sure a raider nearby. The other thing is just be cautious about some of your typical rotations that maybe you would do at the beginning of a match, but not necessarily if somebody is staring at you from a building, because raiders could literally be in any of these doorways. They could be on any of the rooftops. We got to be a lot more mindful. First off, yeah, I'm hearing that right there. It sounds like a Vatina that just took that guy out. So we're going to run that way. Oh, look at this. We got an aggro arc over here too, just southwest. It looks like that's got to be on someone different. Yep. So we're actually going to move that way. Now I do only have a few adrenaline shot left, so we're gonna have to be careful. That one also is aggro. They're likely sitting in the building down below, so we're gonna try and sprint over, get line of sight. Oh yeah, here we go. Firefly as well, before they have a chance to escape. See if we can hear them open up a door and try and leave. We're probably going to have to take this out here. I heard him open the door, by the way. That's a Bobcat. So he is down there. We could possibly... No, sir.
I appreciate you, though. Holy fuck.
No, absolutely, brother. Oh, yeah. Let's run it, brother.
There you go. See, that's what you get.
Well, nothing's happened to me yet.
Big boy. Fuck you. I thought you were 14.
Oh, that's not very nice, brother. You know, I could have said nothing there, big dog.
I was gonna give you some nice stuff, obviously, for my booty hole, but I guess you're not cool.
That's all right, brother. Hey, that's all right, man. Let's send it and have some fun here. Just know you're gonna get wedged by this guy with a Batina.
There.
I'm rotating. Fuck you.
All right, buddy. Good luck. So we're just going to play range here for an advantage with our gun. That's got to be on him now, huh? Possibly, hopefully. He could also be running. We're gonna try to swing wide left here. A paramount threat while dealing with ARC, especially on a night raid map, is that you're going to draw a lot of attention to nearby raiders. And as you guys saw from this situation, the loud noises and the bright lights of the Stitcher brought the attention of another raider over to me. He landed a couple of shots, but thanks to some proper movement and just some incredible shots with the Renegade, I managed to two-shot this guy with headshots, taking him down, taking care of the threat very easily. And honestly, if nothing else, just a reminder that the Renegade 4 is basically a Toro and an Osprey having a baby and throwing a drum mag on there. It's absolutely insane. GG's, brother.
No, who did want planets? I'm not even gonna touch about this shit. Damn. Damn, bro.
What was that, buddy?
I'm not bad. I'm telling you. This shit. Go
Hey,
ahead.
GG's, brother. Have a great night, dude.
White boy.
Ooh. Oh. Yep, do like that. I know there's a Bobcat guy somewhere up top, so we gotta be keeping this in mind here. Let's get healed up full. We do want to swap to this. For now. It is going to break soon. And we're actually going to take a wide external rotation this direction. It's going to be the best option for us. These guys fought just up on hillside. See if Customs... Yeah, Customs is going to be the last extract. Now, odds of me winning against a Bobcat with a light shield, pretty slim unless we catch him off guard. Oh, I think someone did hit the extract. Like far side, last one. Yep, they did. We're not going to make it in time. But we can try. There's very likely going to be a fight taking place. Yep, I hear explosions. So we might be able to third party this. We'll take high ground. Yep, one just died. That's actually perfect for us. It's going to give us a chance to have a go at this fight here. We got him. There's a few things to break down with this approach. Now, first thing is starting with the location. This is a very popular extraction point for fights to go down. And a lot of times what happens is you can either push through one door or the other. Usually it's this front door that's right in front of me that people go through. Now, I opted for throwing in a grenade through the window because what's nice about this is it causes a distraction and a little bit of panic by the individual inside the room as I rotate to the opposite door to push in. That opposite door will also give me a direct line of sight if he's hiding behind the couple bins where a lot of people like to hide. Now, unfortunately, I got over there and realized he had already breached that door closed, so I kind of had to run from the vaporizer while rotating back to the front door And I realized pretty quickly too that as I'm rotating this direction, he could see me through these windows, so I threw a nice little slide in there just to conceal myself a little bit more in case he was looking. I then went for the main door, and the biggest thing here is rather than just holding the wall after the door opens, I pushed right in and jumped straight up to the high ground. And the reason I did this is because I figured he was most likely going to be hiding behind the desk, and this would give me high ground advantage for headshots with the volcano, but also it's just a really awkward push. No one ever does this, and so it would be very unexpected. Now, he didn't end up being behind this desk, and that told me exactly what I needed to know. He's not here, so he's definitely hiding behind the bins. So the remainder of what I did was essentially put myself in position to aggressively push through the smoke, throw in some jump slide tech that would throw him off and give me the ability to listen for footsteps, lock in his location, and get some shots on him. And I did exactly that. Gotta anticipate the third party here. We know this side's breached, which is huge. We're gonna smoke this, hit this guy. Massive. We didn't have a chance to loot the other guy.
En route. The safe window is closing. 10 minutes to get out of there. I repeat.
Oh, he did.
10 minutes.
All right, let's just get out of here. Oh, that's perfect. I mean, you can't ask for a happier ending right there, boys. Let's go. That's a W raid, gentlemen. That is a W raid, and that right there is a perfect cap on how we handle thinking through situations effectively, right? We landed early shots and were able to win that trade, even though we had a light shield. And that's how you do it, boys. That right there is a W raid and a perfect cap to this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the start for this series. We're going to be doing these more often as a part of the early access videos, possibly every other. That way I can put a lot more thought into the instructional videos, but also just give you guys what I personally find to be more valuable sometimes, which is just understanding the mental process of approaching a raid and taking fights and dealing with situations that you might fall into. So that's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you're not already subscribed to the Flock membership and you do want to get early access to the 4 early access videos every single month, don't forget to smash that membership button. Join away, guys, and tune into the live streams for a ton more action. God bless you guys, and peace.